visiting medieval village of Trogir, and obviously these are not medieval vehicles. Trogir, and as we cross this bridge, we will be on to the island. The canal here from the Adriatic surrounds the city, and this was created by the Venetians.
It's a nice and charming medieval town full of houses, approximately 1,000 people living on it. And today we will be making a circle around the area. We start with the North Town Gate and then going like this until we finish St. John Square.
The Greek word for goat is Trogos, and that's where the name came from. It's first colonized by the Greeks. And there was marble in the mountains behind. After the Greeks, the Romans took over. And then the Venetians came in.
The ground has all of the walls around the city. So this is their smaller version of the walls. In front of us, the North Gate. And above the North Gate, the main patron saint. Every city, every town in Croatia has its own patron saint, and here in Trogir, his name is typical, Saint John of Trogir. He's the main protagonist.
Some of the old Greek section goes back to 300 BC. Made a right turn, and we are in ancient Greece. Old cobblestones, old buildings.
Venetians had the rule, if the family has the official title, if they're noble, they're allowed to put coats of arms above the entrance. So in this case, always a Venetian lion, and family members holding this crest with the winged lion in the middle. This house here is one of the biggest on the island. Through the brown door, that's where you go to your big garden. You have the whole property where you can ride your horse and just enjoy in the beautiful city. And the family, they will be living in this block here outside of the brown door. And this is the typical example of a Dalmatian house. The most important part of your house is under the steps. As you open up the green door, you go down under the ground to your small tavern. That's where you keep your prosciutto, your zinfandel, everything you need to have a good party. That's very important, crucial. Then when you're not busy having parties and dinners, you would be living in this middle part of the house, the first floor. That's where you have your dining room, your bedroom, your bathroom, your living room.
This is another one, belonged to a noble. I think this is bed and breakfast today. This was the rich part of the neighborhood with all the nobles. This summer there's restaurants out here. But this street here is the border.
Still here, as we now go down the street, you will see lots of restaurants, souvenir shops on Little Venice. A few more inches and the Adriatic is going up, flooding the whole water.
This is Island Chiovo, where they're mostly retirement homes, but look at these beautiful yachts.
You can see the length of the island.
And this ship here is quite nice too. Venetian fortress.
All the way to the opposite side, to the bridge that takes you to Chiovo. So they were again recreating what they had in Rome. And locals, after 300 years of Venetian control, they hated this. They hated to see the whole city just walled and everyone is hiding behind the walls. As we saw, they took down the rest of it. And as they took down the walls, we could finally see what Venetians were up to.
It's been a school for 300 years. First through 8th grade. The young kids go in the morning, and the older kids go from 2 to 7. And these are very expensive, nice school. It's where you used to stay when the city gate was closed.
They opened up the south gate to see the original so you could freely go in and out as you want. And now we go.
After 300 years of Venetian control, they said their greatest contribution from the Venetians is the recipe for gelato. And there are 4 gelato shops right here, and they say their gelato's better than in Venice. Of course they say that. This was an open courthouse, so the public could walk by and see who was on trial. If you were put on trial, you usually lost. This is St. Lawrence. There was a Venetian lion in the middle. Maximum punishment for a man was 15 years. You had 1 piece of bread, a glass of water a day. 2, 3, 4 months, that was about it. Women went out to the square. There was a metal hook and they tie them together. So while they're hanging by their hands, you had to throw rocks or tomatoes at them. 15 days on the hook would be the worst sentence. 48 hours of doing most people. The longest was someone who lived a week. And they let her down and she left the area. This is the hook where they hung the women by the hands.
To us today, when you look at this hook, you're thinking, oh, no.
Oh, they were shorter.
Just wait until 15 days go by. Position. If you don't believe me, feel free to come here, you put the hook inside, and you put your...
Some women who gave them a hard time, they put a chain up here and got them up even higher. This is the city hall. The Lions of St. Mark, and there's Naked Adam, and over there is Naked Eve in the cathedral.
Initially, everything started so afterwards lining up in front looking at the main portal. That's going to be our last stop as we finish with the interior. Because the portal today is the main highlight of the building and also the oldest part. Before this cathedral that we see today, it was a small chapel. And then one of the biggest noble families on the island, their last name is Chipikov. They wanted to construct the biggest cathedral in the southern region, and the main goal why they wanted to construct it is because they invented the first stock market here. They were making millions in order to reduce taxes. The best thing to do is to donate to the church. The church received big donation. What you do is how you justify it to your people. You build it. The problem was that the family was funding the church with these donations. They didn't want to know, or they really didn't want to know.
There's one balcony and the pipe organ up there. The pulpit and split looks like this, but it was under renovation. Look at the woodwork on this choir stall. Wow. There's the stand for the hymnal.
They added the bell tower, the one that we saw outside, and they added this chapel. Chapel dedicated to the central personality of the story of the city, Saint John Trogir. Parts of his body are inside the red sarcophagus. I say parts because people were claiming that he was able to heal people by touching them, and it was common practice when a person like him would pass away, they would always try to preserve the body parts, in this case his arms.
It's God holding the planet Earth in his hands, upside down in the ceiling. Before leaving Trogir, most of the people in our group stopped in this area to try the gelato.